the third quarter was kind of the issue on Friday, and today it seemed like it was the second quarter. Just what went sideways, or were there any parallels from those two quarters?
Yeah, to me, it's the end of the second and the beginning of the third. I mean, it's those runs right there. Um, I think just attention to detail in those moments. We had a high turnover rate. I think in both games they turned up their pressure. Um, they got away from us a little bit as well, and it's just being locked in for 40 minutes. We're a team that's still reintegrating new pieces, and we got to find a way to make it click. But look, this team busts our ass, man. I'm proud of this team, how hard we compete, that we put ourselves in position night in and night out. Minnesota's been the best team in the league for a reason, and it was a tough one.
I know you talked pregame about getting AB those touches, and that worked for, I think it was 8 points in the first 5 minutes in the first quarter. Just what was working for you, and AB, what was kind of working in the first quarter?
I think honestly just reading. Like I said, they're going to be super aggressive, and so just making the right reads and just getting downhill and focusing and finishing.
For you, Shey, you kind of described yourself as someone who doesn't fill up the stat sheet, but in your first two games, I mean, you had 16 points, you've knocked down so many threes. Just how would you describe your game now, and why have you been able to feel so comfortable?
I still feel like I'm playing the same. I'm just hitting the shots more consistently this time. I put a lot of work in the off season on working on spot up shots and my 3-pointers, and I'm just trying to be aggressive whenever I can.
And what does that say about her play come in on probably one practice and to be able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's big. She's a pro. She's been around. She's experienced. She stayed ready. Getting opportunities, especially when you're on the floor, and the way that Kelsey and AB, work together, it opens things up. And she's been shot ready, and she's knocked down some big ones for us.
This game kind of brought you guys down to 8th in the standings. Just going into these final weeks of the season, into the playoffs, just how much stock do you take in the standings at this point?
Well, I think for us, we got to focus on one day at a time. We got to control what we can control, and that's our next opponent, right? That's going to be Seattle coming into our place, which is a big one. It's a big one. So you can't get caught looking at that stuff. We got to stay locked in on what we have to do and be where our feet are, and take care of what's in front of us.
And this is still, you're facing the top team in the league right now. Is there anything as a group who's still learning that you can learn from facing a team like this and carry with you the rest of the season?
I mean, for me, I think defensively, just our attention to detail has to be there because they make you work. They get to four sides of the floor, 4 actions. They're patient. The ball's moving. It's pinging. They read. So attention to detail in forcing the shots that we want them to shoot. I think we can also learn from it offensively in how the ball continues to move, how it doesn't get stuck, how they do make you work, till the end of the shot clock oftentimes. So I think we can take something that way. I feel like offensively, in these last 2 games, we've done a pretty good job. We've moved the ball really well. We've gotten some good looks. Some of them we knocked down, some of them we haven't. The growth for us has to continue to be consistently on the defensive end.
I guess Kelsey and Lexi kind of both took hits to the face tonight.
Yeah.
Did you think this was more of a physical game than before?
Then Friday nights for sure. It was more physical than Fridays. It was called differently than Fridays. And it's part of it. They're tough players. They got out there and fortunately came out and knocked down some shots. But it's a tough competitive game. The physicality, we've been talking about it all year. I think that everybody adjusts to how it's being called, and we just got to continue to do so.